Some pictures capture the world just before everything changes. In these 5 stories, we uncover the haunting final moments behind real footage captured seconds before disaster. Moments that started out normal but ended in shock, fear, and silence that no camera could ever explain. In the quiet desert north of Phoenix, a young couple set out for what was meant to be a brief, joyful celebration of their first year together. Lisa Guerrieri, 19, and Brandon Rumbaugh, 20, were ordinary young people with dreams and routines typical of their Scottsdale lives. Lisa worked at SRP and sang at her church, while Brandon was an Arizona State University student and aspiring personal trainer. They had planned a one-night camping trip to Bumblebee Road in mid-October 2003, seeking a moment of intimacy and escape from daily life, unaware that their journey would end in unimaginable tragedy. Lisa was a bright, cheerful presence who had endured personal loss earlier that year with the death of her father. Her uncle Mike had promised to look out for her in the aftermath, a promise that weighed heavily on him in the years that followed. Brandon, equally well-liked, was known for his discipline, kindness, and devotion to Lisa. Those who knew the couple often remarked that they seemed perfectly matched, their closeness evident in both public and private moments. On October 17, 2003, the couple borrowed a white Ford F-150 from Lisa's mother, Paula, and drove west off the I-17 highway toward Bumblebee Road, a stretch of remote desert that was once a stagecoach town and later a popular but isolated spot for hiking, dirt biking, and gatherings. Paula called Lisa after they had left, and Lisa reassured her mother that they had many miles to go. That would be the final conversation Paula had with her daughter. The next morning, when neither Lisa nor Brandon returned home, family and friends became worried. They began a search. By 3:30 p.m. on October 18th, 3 of Brandon's friends discovered the couple's bodies in the back of the truck, still in their sleeping bags, both shot multiple times with a rare .25 caliber handgun. Nearby, investigators found a broken disposable camera, apparently smashed to prevent its use, but a number of photographs were developed nonetheless. Among them were the last haunting images of Lisa and Brandon. One depicted Lisa seated in the truck bed, smiling, yet with eyes that to her mother, Paula, seemed to suggest unease. The second showed Brandon in a similar position, his expression neutral, arms crossed and eyes fixed on the camera. The third image was more enigmatic, a hanging light fixture in an unknown location, possibly taken after the couple's deaths, raising questions about whether the camera had been moved by the author of the crimes. Authorities considered multiple theories. Early suspicion fell on someone within Brandon's circle, given that one of the friends present at the scene had reportedly harbored romantic feelings for Lisa. This individual left the state shortly after the discovery of the bodies, prompting additional scrutiny, though a polygraph test ultimately cleared him. Other investigators have speculated that the killings were the result of a robbery gone wrong, noting the similarities to a later incident in Yuma, Arizona, where 2 men were shot during a truck theft. Regardless, the .25 caliber handgun was never recovered, and no definitive evidence has been found to confirm either theory. The aftermath has left an enduring mark on Lisa and Brandon's families. Paula Guerrieri has expressed the enduring torment of unanswered questions and the impossibility of imagining her daughter's final moments. Law enforcement continues to investigate, with DNA testing and genealogy research ongoing in the hopes of identifying the perpetrator. Yavapai Silent Witness maintains a $10,000 reward for information leading to an arrest, emphasizing the importance of any tip, however small. Nearly 20 years later, the case remains unsolved. The images captured on the broken camera serve as both chilling testimony and haunting relics of lives abruptly ended. Lisa and Brandon, once full of hope and plans for the future, are remembered not only for the tragedy that befell them, but for the lives they lived and the love they shared. Their story continues to draw attention, a reminder of how fleeting and fragile life can be, and of the relentless pursuit of justice that has yet to be fulfilled. On New Year's Day 2011, Councilman Ronaldo Dagsa of Caloocan City, Philippines, intended to capture a moment of celebration with his family. Standing outside his home, he raised his camera to photograph his wife, daughter, and mother-in-law against the backdrop of the noisy street revelry and exploding firecrackers. What began as a simple act of family joy became a harrowing instant frozen in time, unbeknownst to Dagsa, that would mark his final moments on Earth. The image he captured would soon become both a shocking record of his death and a pivotal piece of evidence in the investigation that followed. At 35 years old, Dagsa was a local councilman and a member of the Barangay Peacekeeping Action Team, a group assisting the police in crime prevention. Known for his dedication to public service and his reputation for being tough on crime, he had previously assisted authorities in having several criminals arrested. Among those who knew him, Dagsa was described as kind-hearted, disciplined, and deeply devoted to his family. On the night that sealed his fate, he had asked his family to wake him before midnight so he could join in the New Year's celebrations, a routine he observed every year. As he focused on composing the photo, a man later identified as Arnel Buenaflor appeared behind the family. In a chilling coincidence, Dagsa's camera unknowingly captured Buenaflor pointing a handgun directly at him. Another man, Michael Gonzalez, also known as Fubo, was visible in the frame acting as a lookout, while a third accomplice, Francis Bumjal, was positioned just outside the shot. Moments after pressing the shutter, Dagsa was shot in the chest. Despite efforts by his family to rush him to the hospital, he succumbed to his injuries before reaching medical care. The gunshots themselves were largely masked by the sound of fireworks and firecrackers, preventing immediate recognition of the attack. As such, his family didn't know anything was wrong until they saw Dagsa collapse, fatally wounded. Police quickly obtained the photograph from Dagsa's family. The image, published on the front page of the Philippine Daily Inquirer, provided an unmistakable depiction of the gunman and one of his accomplices. Within days, authorities arrested Buenaflor, who had been released on bail while facing robbery charges, and Oliva, both suspected of harboring a grudge against Dagsa due to his role in their prior arrests. Investigators reported that Buenaflor fired 4 shots, one of which struck Dagsa, while a second gunman fired from behind but missed. The discovery of a cell phone belonging to Buenaflor's live-in partner further aided police in tracking him to a boarding house in Aurora Township, approximately 270 kilometers north of Manila. Authorities continue to search for the remaining accomplice, Bumjal, while questioning those connected to Buenaflor's escape. The photograph taken by Dagsa is widely recognized as a haunting last image, capturing the exact moment danger materialized without the victim's awareness. The evidence provided investigators with clear identification of the perpetrators and directly facilitated the arrests, demonstrating the rare and grim role a single photograph can play in solving a crime. The image remains a stark reminder of the unpredictability of violence and the immediate impact of community involvement and police cooperation in crime prevention. Dagsa's death highlighted ongoing issues of firearm accessibility and violent crime in the Philippines, particularly in urban areas such as Caloocan City. His family mourned not only the loss of a husband and father, but also the sudden and public nature of his death. In the days and weeks following, the photograph continued to serve both as evidence and as a haunting symbol of the split-second timing between life and death. The case illustrates how a single captured moment intended to preserve happiness instead recorded a tragedy that would alter the lives of all involved, leaving an indelible mark on the community and law enforcement efforts. In April 2025, a family vacation to the scenic Baisaran Meadow in Pahalgam, India, promised a moment of leisure and enjoyment. The lush mountains and rolling meadows, often called Mini Switzerland, were a striking backdrop for tourists seeking respite from daily life. Among them was Rishi Bhatt, a visitor from Ahmedabad, who had brought his wife and young son for a day of adventure. On that seemingly ordinary outing, Rishi mounted a zipline and began filming himself with a selfie stick, capturing smiles, the picturesque landscape, and the thrill of gliding above the ground. At that moment, he had no idea that the area below was about to erupt in violence, and that his footage would become a record of terror watched by millions across the globe. Rishi, a 30-something man from Gujarat, had chosen the Baisaran Meadow for its natural beauty and family-friendly activities. The zipline was a highlight of their visit, and Rishi appeared relaxed, wearing a blue-checked shirt, sunglasses, and a safety helmet as he glided through the air. His intention was to document a happy memory with his family, and for a brief span that was exactly what the video captured. The serene beauty of the region and the excitement of the zipline offered an illusion of safety, making what happened next all the more shocking. As Rishi descended, the faint sound of gunfire began to echo from below. Within seconds, the cheerful scene transformed into chaos. A militant attack launched by 4 members of a group known as the Resistance Front targeted tourists in the area. In the video, tourists scatter in panic, running for cover as gunshots ring out intermittently. Toward the end of Rishi's clip, one victim is seen collapsing after a shot, while dozens continue to flee in terror. The attack ultimately claimed 26 lives, including 25 Indian tourists and 1 Nepali visitor, and left dozens injured. Rishi later recounted that he initially did not grasp the full scope of the attack. 9 people ziplined before me, but the operator did not utter a word. When I was sliding, he spoke, and then the firing started, he said. Recalling the moment the gunman opened fire, realizing the danger after roughly 20 seconds, he detached from the zip line, grabbed his wife and son, and ran to a hidden pit with other visitors to avoid being seen. From this vantage point, he witnessed horrific scenes. 15 to 16 tourists were shot in front of him, and men from 2 families were reportedly asked their religion before being executed. Sporadic firing continued for 8 to 10 minutes, briefly paused and then resumed, leaving survivors in terror until the Indian Army arrived roughly 20 minutes later to secure the area and provide cover. Authorities quickly identified the attack as a militant operation against Indian civilians, claiming it was carried out by the Resistance Front, a group linked to Lashkar-e-Taiba, which opposes Indian control over Kashmir. Following the attack, India downgraded diplomatic ties with Pakistan, revoked visa services for its citizens, and faced retaliatory measures, including closure of Pakistani airspace to Indian airlines. Meanwhile, local and national police launched an extensive manhunt, detaining hundreds for questioning to track down the perpetrators and their supporters. The video Rishi captured became a chilling record of the final moments of normalcy before the mass shooting unfolded. While intended as a simple family memory, it documented the sudden escalation of terror, providing visual evidence of the unfolding tragedy. For Rishi and his family, the footage remains a haunting reminder of the day their vacation became entwined with one of the deadliest attacks in the region since the 2019 Pulwama strike. The incident highlighted the unpredictability of violence in even the most idyllic settings and underscored the urgent need for vigilance, rapid response, and resilience in the face of terror. The last photograph of Samantha and Arik Hutchinson radiates pure happiness. The couple standing barefoot on the sands of Folly Beach, South Carolina, moments after saying, "I do." That image, so full of warmth and love, would become one of the most haunting symbols of how quickly joy can turn to heartbreak. Within minutes, their perfect wedding night would end in unimaginable tragedy, an event captured in shocking footage that surfaced seconds before the fatal impact. Samantha Miller, 34, was known for her bright spirit and ability to make everyone around her feel at ease. She was a daughter, a sister, and a friend who brought laughter and calm wherever she went. Those who knew her said she was pure love, a person whose kindness seemed boundless. Her new husband, 36-year-old Arik Hutchinson, shared her love for the ocean, and together they had planned a simple beachside wedding that reflected who they were, free-spirited and deeply connected. Samantha looked radiant in her dress, full of excitement for the life that lay ahead. After the reception, the couple climbed into a decorated golf cart to leave their wedding celebration. Samantha leaned close to Arik and said she wished the night would never end. The moment was captured in a brief video filmed by guests waving sparklers, a piece of footage that would later tragically become evidence. At 10 p.m., as the newlyweds rode along a poorly lit residential road, a rented Toyota Camry driven by 25-year-old Jamie Lee Komorowski struck them from behind at a speed of 65 miles per hour in a 25 zone. The crash was violent. The golf cart rolled multiple times, launching its passengers more than 100 yards before coming to rest in a mangled heap of metal and splintered wood. Samantha, still wearing her wedding dress, died instantly from blunt force trauma. Arik suffered 2 broken legs, multiple facial fractures, and a severe brain injury. 2 other passengers were also critically injured. Responding officers found Komorowski alone in her vehicle, visibly intoxicated. She told police she had done nothing wrong, claiming to have had only a beer and a tequila cocktail an hour earlier. Her blood alcohol content, however, was later measured at .261, more than 3 times the legal limit. Reports showed she had spent the night drinking at several bars before getting behind the wheel. She was charged with felony DUI resulting in death, 2 counts of felony DUI causing great bodily injury, and reckless homicide. A memorial service was held at the same stretch of sand where the couple had exchanged vows. Arik, still in a wheelchair, watched as surfers paddled into the waves to scatter flowers marked with Samantha's name. Footage and photographs from that night, once meant to preserve happy memories, became central to both the investigation and the public's understanding of what happened. The last video, filmed seconds before impact, showed headlights approaching in the distance as the newlyweds' laughter echoed softly. Months later, Komorowski pleaded guilty to felony DUI and reckless homicide. In court, she broke down as she expressed remorse, saying she would live with shame and regret for the rest of her life. The judge sentenced her to 25 years in prison. Arik, still undergoing physical therapy, told the court that not a day passed without reliving the moment his life changed forever. He spoke of wishing he could have protected his wife, of waking up in the hospital unable to comprehend that she was gone. The tragedy left deep scars on families, friends, and an entire community, and reignited national conversations about the deadly consequences of drunk driving. For many, the final photograph of Samantha and Arik smiling on the sand remains a powerful reminder of how one reckless decision can destroy countless lives in an instant. On August 20th, 2022, a photograph captured a moment of pure happiness. A young Italian couple smiling together on the edge of a cliff overlooking the forests of Rozzo, Italy. In the image, 30-year-old Andrea Mazzetto and his girlfriend Sara Brigante stand close, their faces lit with the joy of a perfect summer day. The two had spent hours hiking the rocky trails of Alternato, a popular local formation known for its sweeping views. But what began as an outdoor adventure soon turned into a tragic event. Andrea was known among friends as active, confident, and adventurous. A fitness enthusiast and building contractor, he often shared glimpses of his life online, where nearly 2,500 followers followed his posts about travel, workouts, and time spent with Sara. That August weekend, he and Sara set out to climb Alternato, a rock formation that rises dramatically above the small town of Rozzo, in the province of Vicenza. The site, whose name comes from its resemblance to an altar, offered stunning views of the surrounding countryside. Throughout the day, the couple shared photos and videos of their hike, documenting their laughter and excitement as they explored the trail. At one point during their climb, Andrea stopped to take a selfie of the two of them near the summit. The resulting image showed the pair smiling against a vast blue sky, unaware that it would become their last. Andrea's phone slipped from his hand shortly afterward and fell near the edge of the cliff. As he attempted to retrieve it, he lost his balance and plummeted nearly 650 feet, around 200 meters, to the ground below. The horrifying fall was witnessed by Sara, who immediately called emergency services for help. Rescue teams, including firefighters, alpine rescuers, and a medical helicopter, rushed to the remote site. Despite their rapid response, there was nothing they could do. Andrea had died instantly from the fall. His body was later recovered by helicopter from the steep terrain. For Sara, the moment was incomprehensible. One instant, they had been posing for a photograph. The next, she was standing alone on the mountain, staring into the void where her partner had just been. In the hours that followed, word of the accident spread quickly through local news outlets and social media. The footage from Andrea's Instagram story, posted minutes before the accident, showed the couple smiling, hiking together, and panning their camera across the breathtaking cliffs of Alternato. Those clips, recorded seconds before tragedy, offered a chilling glimpse into the final moments of his life. Sara later shared their last photograph to her own Instagram account, calling it "our cursed last photo together" and writing, "You will always be with me, my little bear." Her message was tender, a farewell to the man she had loved deeply and lost in an instant. Andrea's funeral was held in Rovigo, drawing family, friends, and community members who remembered him as full of energy and optimism. His death became a somber reminder of the hidden dangers that accompany the pursuit of perfect photos and social media moments. What was meant to be a simple day of hiking and shared joy ended in tragedy, and the final smiling photo, taken seconds before disaster, stands as a haunting reminder of how quickly life can change beyond comprehension.